Hey, fool, this ain't no football game.
Autumn is approaching, and that can only mean one thing. It's football season, and it's time to play fantasy football. Lucky for you, you are right where you need to be. So sit back, relax, and turn up the volume on your streaming device. Johnny Ballgame, Sir Poops-a-Lot, and the Fantasy Reaper are about to deliver humor and fantasy gold at the same time. Crush your opponent with a smile. It's Fantasy Sports Island.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the island. I brought a few friends with me on the island. You might recognize one, you might not recognize the other. Tony Brooks. Sir Poops-a-Lot is back on the show. Welcome back, Tony.
He's back. He's only gone for 2 shows. It's not like
I know, but
it's not like Royce, who disappeared after week 6 last year.
But 2 shows means 2 months, John. It's been a while.
It has been a while.
Speaking of John, Johnny Ballgame is
What's
back.
up, everybody? What's up? Love it. Back to talk some football. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Fantasy Sports Island. You guys are going to get some nuggets on tonight's show. Everyone loves fantasy running backs. And tonight, we're going to talk about fantasy running backs the entire show. We're going to give you our top 15 rankings at the running back position as a unit, as a whole. And then we're going to talk about the guys that didn't make our list. So it's all running back fantasy football tonight. If you like running backs, and I know you do, you're going to want to hit that like button. You're probably going to want to subscribe because guess what, folks? We're back. We're going to do this weekly if we can, as much as possible.
It ain't no probably. They're not going to probably want to hit subscribe. They're going to want to hit subscribe. They just hit it now. This isn't even a question.
And Tony, don't you think they should probably hit that little notification bell too?
Absolutely, please. I always do the down thing. It looks a little weird, but yeah, please hit that notification wherever.
That's actually not him pointing to the bell, though. That's him pointing to his groin. Just so you guys know.
My dog's down there.
Yeah.
Weird.
All right. So since the last show, there's been a few developments. I'll start off with one. Let's talk about Deshaun Watson.
Who?
The man whore. 3 more girls came out.
Yes.
3 more indictments, not indictments, but counts against him in the civil court of law. John, will it ever end?
No. Why don't they just suspend him for God? Again, innocent till proven guilty. I get it. Blah blah blah. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Where there's a house engulfed in flames, there's definitely a fire. So, I mean, come on. Let's just get it over with.
Yeah, I agree.
So last time we talked about this, John, we were talking about what we thought the length of suspension would be, but we have to change that now because things have changed. We thought they had discovered 23, right? And we were thinking their investigation was wrapping up. They had gone to Texas to speak to him, and it looked like a suspension was going to be looming, and it was probably going to be between 4 to 6 weeks. I said 4, you said 6, but now I'm thinking it could be the whole year.
It's definitely possible. I think it'll at least be half the season, right? So we're looking at 8 to 9 weeks now since they added the extra week. But I think you could absolutely be right. The funny thing is I could see it going anywhere from 4 weeks to a season. That's how unknown, we don't know many of the details. We know just what the press has kind of leaked out and that sort of thing. But I'm actually so tired of the story that I don't even care anymore. I just want them to get on with it so that we know what to do.
And you notice they haven't traded Baker Mayfield yet.
Although I heard that I heard his release was imminent, though.
Yeah, we'll see. Tony, man, it's been 2 months since you've been on the show. A lot has happened. We had a bunch of extensions signed since our last show. Cooper Kupp got paid. What do you think? Was it worth it?
Yeah, it is. God, I always say it pains me, but I never expected this. I'm talking a couple years ago. He's worth it. He's worth it. I don't know why I didn't jump on the train 2 years ago. The kid's amazing. The team loves him. Coaches talk about how amazing he is. He's earned every penny. And kudos to that dude, man. He's badass.
The greatest fantasy season of all time last year, and he got paid handsomely.
Should've.
Talk to me, Johnny.
I mean, here's the thing. He is the most complete wide receiver in the league today. He's fast. He's shifty. He runs some of the best routes of anyone. His hands just don't miss. And for somebody that they know is going to get thrown to, he's constantly open, which shows you what a great technician and route runner he is. He should have been paid, and I can't wait to draft Allen Robinson instead.
Yeah, I was about to get to that because we have to determine now, where do you take Cooper Kupp? Because, ladies and gentlemen, he's going 3rd or 4th overall in a lot of the drafts going down these days.
A lot of mock drafts. Yeah.
That's crazy cost. Do we even consider him to be the top dog at wide receiver? Well, you're going to have to check in next week when we return and do our top 15 wide receivers next week.
Yeah, we already go. Quick questions, though. What do we think about the holdout of McLaurin? I know we're going to talk about receivers next week, but what do you guys think about that?
I don't know. He didn't have an impressive season. Plus, he was kind of banged up.
He's easily the best player on Washington, though, right?
He is. I
mean,
he's got the talent. You saw that 2 seasons ago for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see what pans out of it, but go for it.
I just thought it was interesting. Most of the holdouts from the optional practices now are not holding out anymore. Now they're all
because they get fined.
Yeah, it's like $93,000 a day or something like that.
Yeah, and for guys like McLaurin who hasn't gotten paid yet, that's a steep fine.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
All right, running backs. Here we go.
Top 15 fantasy running backs.
Let's do it.
Today we're going to unveil our top 15 running backs as it stands today. And these will change as we, get through the offseason further into more camp, training camp, all that good stuff. And I'm sure our top 15 will change drastically by game day of week 1. But as it stands right now, I've collected the votes of all the people that are on this channel, and we've compiled our consensus top 15. We're going to go right down the list. We're going to talk about each guy that made the list. And then afterwards, we're going to discuss all the guys that possibly could have made it but didn't. So let's start with our number 1 running back off the board.
Number 1, Jonathan Taylor, Indianapolis Colts.
It is Jonathan Taylor, and that is the industry standard across the board. All the channels think also Jonathan Taylor. We did too, but not all of us agreed individually that Jonathan Taylor is the number 1 running back. John, you're one of them. Tell me why Jonathan Taylor wasn't your number 1 running back.
So he's my number 3, so it's not like I think he's going to fall off that much. I do think there's going to be a little bit of fall off. Got a new quarterback coming in. I don't know that they did a ton to really shore up that line. And the wide receiver group still doesn't scare me, so they're going to be keen on him all year. So I don't know. I feel like there's going to be a little drop off. Not much. I'd still love to have him on my team, but I don't think he's going to have the monster season that he had last year. And I think McCaffrey and Henry both have better seasons.
All right. Now, Tony, you definitely had him number 1. Why is Jonathan Taylor your number 1?
Well, actually, last season, I didn't think he was going to be as good as he was. I really didn't. He was unstoppable. And last season, there was a regime change too. Now I think there's a little bit more experience coming in. But like you said, I don't buy the wide receivers quite yet, the passing game quite yet, but I buy Taylor, and I still think he's the best. I think he's the best in the NFL period. So I still think he's going to be number 1.
I can get on board with that. I had Jonathan Taylor number 1 just simply because of his injury history. There is none. The man has never missed a practice in college or the pros. The man shows up every week and plays, and he doesn't get hurt.
You better knock on some wood right now.
And I would like that to continue. Otherwise, Christian McCaffrey would be my number 1 because when he does play, he is by far the highest scoring fantasy player when he plays. But that is a big if, and he didn't even make our number 2. Our number 2 running back.
Number 2, Derrick Henry, Tennessee Titans.
as a consensus was Derrick Henry. And that surprises me because I didn't have Derrick Henry number 2. Also coming off an injury-riddled season last year. John, you had him at number 2, I believe.
Yeah, I had him number 2.
Tell me why Derrick Henry is your number 2.
I think it's going to be a nice comeback story. I don't think there's anybody that works out harder and gets themselves more trained and ready, and he's got a chip on his shoulder. I actually just read an article today, and it's funny because I gave you this ranking a while ago. I read an article today that he is as motivated as he's ever been. That loss in the playoffs left a bad taste in his mouth, and he's out to regain his title. And my gosh, if you looked at the path that he was on last year before he got hurt, I mean, he finished top 13 running backs. He only played 9 games. As a 13th running back in fantasy scoring in our league, and in some leagues actually even higher. And he only played 9 games, people. I don't think I need to say anything more than that. That guy, and it's not like he had a ligament torn in his knee or a bad hammy that will keep acting up. It was a broken bone in his foot. It's healed up completely by all accounts. I'm not worried about that re-injury. And I think the rest actually from most of the season last year is going to just do nothing but have him some fresh legs. And fresh legs, Derrick Henry, is scary.
Yeah.
Tony, let me holler at you. Derrick Henry has carried the ball over 300 times the previous 3 seasons prior to last year. And he was on pace to do even more last year until he got hurt. Yeah. So the man carries a humongous load. Okay. He's now coming off a foot injury. His offensive line is not as strong as it once was. And now they've lost Brown on the outside, A.J. Brown. And so that option is gone. They're going with the rookie there instead, Treylon Burks. Does any of this make you want to drop Derrick Henry even a little bit, or are you still sticking at 2?
I'm sticking at 2 for now because he's a wrecking ball. And I agree with Johnny. I've read some stuff too that he was actually very disappointed. He feels that, his injury hurt the momentum of the team. And he's got something to prove. And a guy that big, that strong, that fast, I don't know.
With a chip on his shoulder and rested legs.
I having those changes, like you're saying, with the offensive line, I don't know if it's going to matter that much.
I may have actually talked myself into making him number 1.
He's incredible. So,
wow, I did the exact opposite of what I was trying to do.
Yeah.
I'm leaving him at 2. And may change. Like we're saying.
Yeah, I want to see how he looks in preseason.
The man is also 28 years old, and he will be turning 29 during the season.
Oh, no.
Does that add another wrinkle to it?
No. Talk to me when he turns 30.
Okay.
It's like he's only 27 and a half because he took a half a year off.
So I didn't have him second, okay? But we'll get to that in just a minute.
Where'd you have him?
I had him 4th because I have 2 guys ahead of him, one of which we're about to talk about. Our number 3 running back.
Number 3, Alvin Cook, Minnesota Vikings.
Dalvin Cook in Minnesota. And people might be thinking, Dalvin Cook, he hasn't been a top 5 running back in a couple of years now, right? Yeah. Correct. Dalvin Cook also has a checkered history for injuries. But if you've been listening to the coordinators talk about his role this year and how they're lining him up everywhere as a receiver, moving around in the backfield, in the slot. Doesn't that give you kind of a feel of a Christian McCaffrey type role? John, does that make you want to raise Dalvin Cook's value?
No, because it's hard to do any of that from the bench. Stay healthy for a while, then I'll think about drafting you. I'm sorry. He's the guy's injury every year, and every year I fall for it. So
that's
Tony.
Here's the
Talk
thing.
to me. I know you like Dalvin Cook.
No, I like Cook. His injuries, though, are problematic. They're also not devastating injuries. Most injuries he has, he comes back after 2 or 3 weeks. It's annoying as a fantasy owner. And it's not the best for his team either. But that's why they're going to move him around. They're also looking at him, like you said, like a McCaffrey and Austin Ekeler. They want to get him out of some of those situations where he's not grounding and pounding and taking out his legs and losing 2 weeks. So they're going to line him up differently. I'm hoping that's going to work. We don't know if that's going to. Is that going to be the key? Is that going to be the answer for him to catch some more passes on the outside? Is that going to protect him for losing that 3 to 4 weeks he loses every year?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Here's my other thing, my other issue. Can I just chime in here real quick? And the reason I have him at 6, Madison's still on that team. Madison's still on that team. And Madison's really good. Madison's a starting running back and every other thing. I think they're going to start using him on the inside runs and use Cook on the outside runs. And in passing, I believe that they're going to move him around some. I just don't think he's going to get the volume. And maybe that's going to be a good thing. They want to keep him fresh and healthy. I mean, I still have him at 6. It's not like I think he's going to, you know, he's not going to be good. His injury history worries me. Is the reason he's not in my top 5.
Madison's good, John. Really? That's your selling point? Madison's good. Madison
really
only
good.
Plays when Cook gets hurt.
I know, and he's fantastic when he does. They got to.
I know he is. But the key is when he's out, Madison is good. Madison is not taking carries away from Cook. He might spell him for a breather here and there, but one of the feature backs in this league is Dalvin Cook, and he always has been. And I like the idea of him lining up everywhere. That increases his value to me.
Where'd you have him?
I have him at 3. And the guy I have at number 2 is next on our list, and that is our number 4 running back.
Number 4, Christian McCaffrey, Carolina Panthers.
Christian McCaffrey at Carolina, the injury-prone man himself. Tony, I want to start with you. Where did you have Christian McCaffrey? I have you having him at number 6.
Yes.
I want to discuss why. Why so far down?
Injuries. Now, okay, some of it's personal. I'll probably change a little bit, but 2 years in a row, man, he's killed me.
Once bitten, twice shy.
So, but dude, I don't trust it now. Last season was worse than the season before. It was like, what happened? The wind blew, and he, like, all of a sudden he went from this indestructible dude. Well, really, because they couldn't catch him. To he got tripped up on the sideline and he's out with a hammy for 2 months or whatever it was. That's making me really uncomfortable. Now, right now, everybody's saying he's badass, he's healthy, he's top 5. Mine right now, I'm going with a gut early. I do not think he's going to be a top 5. And I was actually thinking about pushing him to 8 on my list. So maybe it's more of a gut, yes, but I don't trust him.
It's hard to not want to take the guy that when he has played the last 4 seasons, all 4 seasons, he was the number 1 scoring running back per week.
Yeah.
So when he plays, he is the best running back in football. I don't think that changes. But he has not played a full season in 2 consecutive years now. So that is scary. I can understand lowering him down a little bit. I get it. But if we can continue to lower him down the board so I can get him late in the first,
right?
I'll take that in a heartbeat. Johnny, what do you got?
He's number 1 on my list.
Really?
And I was about to get to you. Why?
Yeah. So I think McCaffrey is the guy because I think he's due. Like, I know I just am speaking out of both sides of my ass because I just said Dalvin Cook, I don't trust him because he's always injured. And I know about the injury histories. But much like Dalvin, the injuries weren't serious injuries that are like career threatening. They were bad for the season or whatever. But you ever just, and you know me, I get these gut feelings and I feel like that guy is due. And like you said before, when he's on the field, he's unbelievable. And it doesn't matter who his quarterback is. It doesn't matter who's playing with. It doesn't matter if his line sucks or it doesn't suck. In fact, that's almost better for him because then they got to dump it off and they throw him the passes. Which is how he, scores more of his points. So I just think he's due. I think he's going to end up being the number 1 running back all season.
If I can add in one more thing real quick. The one thing about his injuries, it's almost been ridiculous. Like, just like horrible luck.
Yeah.
And it kind of feels like, okay, that's got to give. Because these are not like it's weird injuries.
They're not conditioning injuries. They're not bad knee structure injuries.
It's not like a major fracture. So it's when Dalvin Cook gets hurt, you're like, whoa, he got drilled, and he comes up limping and he misses a couple weeks. McCaffrey, you're like, what? It just seems bizarre. bad luck. So my point is, I kind of hear where you're coming from. He might be due. It might be like, this is just from bad luck. Some weird shit happened. He's going to stay healthy. And when he stays healthy, there is no stopping that guy, obviously.
Yeah.
So I wish him luck.
His injuries are of the soft tissue kind, you know what I mean? And those are the ones that linger and cause you the most problems with your legs. I mean, that's how it starts anyways, but he has not had the major structural damage in his knee or anything like that. So that's a positive.
Here's the other thing about him. He didn't let anyone rush him back either. It's like that guy knows his body. He knew if he tried to rush back, and when he did try to play when he was injured and it tweaked a little bit, he's like, nope, screw it. I'm in it more for the long term than just this couple of weeks or whatever. And so I don't know, man. I just feel like he's due.
Our number 5 consensus running back for fantasy football this year.
Number 5 Austin Ekeler, Los Angeles Chargers.
Is Austin Ekeler. And going back to McCaffrey, we're holding out hope that he's due. He can come back from a couple of injury-riddled seasons and play the whole year. Austin Ekeler just did that. He was a guy that was known as being the guy that gets hurt several weeks every year, and that's why you couldn't trust him. And he put together an entire season. He only missed 1 week last year. Also, Austin Ekeler scored 20 touchdowns, something I did not see coming.
I didn't either.
It's incredible. I feel like that was a fluke, and there's no way in hell he's getting 20 touchdowns this year. And he's way down my list, not way down, but definitely not my number 5. John, where did you have Austin Ekeler?
I had him at 7. So pretty close to there. I mean, in our league, 11 times he scored over 20 points. So, and again, in our league, we get more for pass catching and all that stuff. But I don't think we're so crazy on running backs that we're out there that much. He had a great season. And I, like you, feel like, was it a little bit of a fluke? But I thought that all season. Like, he's not going to do good this year. Or he's not going to do good this week. We've seen it. We've seen all we're going to see out of Austin Ekeler. And he comes back and he blows everybody away. And then he puts out a video and he's doing one-arm pull-ups and he's doing all this crazy stuff. So you know he's a beast. And I think they're going to use him right. I think, he's playing on a team with a fantastic quarterback, a line that's just a young line that's getting better. And I mean, he's definitely in my top 10. I got him at 7.
And John, I was down on Austin Ekeler last year in our rankings, as you remember.
Yeah.
But I drafted him anyways in the second round, the early second round, and I had a steal. And I still traded him.
I know, because you were sure that steal was a fluke.
But it did work out for me because I did win the championship, and I did flip him to get Josh Allen. So that helped.
Good.
But
That's
still,
good. Yeah.
I mean, I had a steal there, and I didn't even know it. I mean, that man was a top 3 running back.
Yeah.
Incredible. Tony, you had him 3rd.
Okay, I slept on that, and I woke up this morning and I was really like, I don't know. Like, I don't think he's going to be hitting 20 touchdowns, so it's kind of changed my mind. But one-arm push-ups, man. I mean,
Pull-ups. What are pull-ups?
He's a maniac, and he seems like he's getting stronger.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I'm up in the air about it. I don't know. Right now, I have him at 3. That's kind of a gut thing again, but we'll see in a couple of weeks if I have him in my top 5. That's all I can say.
I had him at 6, so not too far down the board. Now let's talk about our number 6 running back as a unit.
Number 6 Najee Harris, Pittsburgh Steelers.
Najee Harris from Pittsburgh. This one kind of surprised me a little bit because I think I had him down a little bit. I had him at 8.
Did you really?
I did. I had him at 8. I've heard rumblings that Najee Harris is going to be replaced on passing downs, at least some of the time, to keep him fresh, which could be a good thing. Perhaps he was, tired from carrying the load the entire game. And also, I do know that the coach of the Steelers doesn't, generally speaking, doesn't like to use running back by committee. He likes to go with one running back. But I do feel like where there's smoke, there's fire, and that gives me a little bit of concern because Najee Harris was only good because of volume last year. He really wasn't good per carry. It was just based on volume. He was good.
He was a good receiver. He got good yards on receiving.
Yeah, great receiver, but he got a lot of catches.
Yeah.
And his yards per carry were not good, and he didn't hit a lot of touchdowns.
Right.
But he did play on an anemic offense that was run by the old man Ben Shitburger. Thank God he's gone. Do we think?
I know you'll miss him.
Do we think the rookie Pickett will help, or your boy from Buffalo, your savior from Chicago, John? Do you really think he's going to win that starting job?
I do think Trubisky, and we'll do a quarterbacks course in a couple of weeks. I do think Trubisky will be the starter, at least for the beginning of the season. And I think when they win a few games, I think he'll stay the starter for the season. I don't think Pickett's going to be ready, personally. Also, tiny hands. Just tiny little hands. Just kidding. So, yeah, I think they'll use Najee. I think Najee, if you remember, Henry started his first 2 seasons not as one of the best running backs coming out of Alabama. I feel like Najee is going to slowly get to that same place too. I feel like Najee is going to be a beast this year. I almost ranked him higher than where I ranked him, which was 4th on my list.
John, did you say Najee? Let me write this down. Najee is going to be a beast this year.
Yep.
That's a Johnny Ballgame nugget,
That is
folks.
a
Write it
Johnny
down.
Ball game, gut feeling nugget.
I'm going to tell you guys the same thing I tell the waitress when she's taking my order. Just write it down.
I do too, by the way. I hate that when they try to memorize it.
Why do waitresses try to impress me and memorize my order? And I know they're going to fuck it up.
Just gives me anxiety the whole time.
What kind of salad dressing was that again? I told you. I knew she'd something.
Tony, you also had Najee Harris down a couple slots at 8. Tell me why.
I feel exactly the same way you do. And right now, it's just what's coming out in the media. How they plan on using him is making me a little bit nervous. A lot of talent. Enjoyed watching him. I don't know if they can put the whole load on his back. And, they're going to have to make whatever quarterback it is do some work. It's Pittsburgh, man. Come on. I don't think they can ride Najee that long. So I don't want them to bang him up either. So I look at him as being a 7 or an 8.
There was at least 5, that's what she says, in that paragraph that you just said.
I don't even know what I said.
Oh, my Lord. I mean, there was, yeah.
I don't know
You
what
make
I
a
said.
whole soundtrack of Tony isms. Let me tell you. Let me tell you.
It's come on. I don't know. What's going on?
All right, our number 7 as a group is
Number 7 Alvin Kamara, New Orleans Saints.
running back Alvin Kamara from New Orleans. If he doesn't go to jail. What? I mean, Alvin Kamara 7th off the board to me seems scary due to his legal situation and the fact that he wasn't that great last year with their quarterback situation. Jameis Winston / the tight end / what's his name? The guy that they gave $70 million,
Taysom, who they've said, by the way, will not be quarterback this year.
Thank God. Thank God.
So give him an extension.
Tony, is Alvin Kamara going to have a bounce back year this year?
No, I think there's too much turmoil. I'm worried about him, worried about his personal situation, worried about the organization. I put him at, what do I have him at, like 9? And I'm going on just pure talent, leading him in the top 10. I'm nervous about his situation. It's not going to be all his fault, but the entire team. I don't like it right now. I don't like it.
I got to tell you this right now. I'm pretty confident that Johnny Ballgame, who's had Alvin Kamara in sensational seasons, is going to rank him higher than us.
Yeah. 5?
Listen,
Okay.
man, Alvin Kamara finished 5th in the league last year. Alvin Kamara missed 4 weeks on a shitty team with Taysom Hill and Jameis, and there was like a 3rd-string quarterback in there somewhere.
The guy from Denver.
Yeah.
That was
he
like a
finished
girl.
the 5th highest scoring running back last year in a down year, missing 4 weeks with shitty quarterbacks and no number 1 wide receiver.
I just don't like it. Listen,
It's fine. Listen, if he goes to jail, I lower him down on my rankings because he'll probably still only miss about 4 weeks, and he'll probably still get to be in the top 5.
I mean, is it shocking, Tony? This man scored John 6 freaking touchdowns on Christmas.
I know, of course he did.
The best Christmas present in the history of fantasy football for John.
Literally won me the head-to-head championship last year with that 1 week.
You know, this is what I love about John. When you go to Johnny, like, Johnny, what do you think? When he's really annoyed, right? But also it's always really, it starts off really, really quiet. It's kind of like Stephen A. Smith when he's about ready to lose his mind. Johnny's like, you don't even hear his chair squeak, nothing. He's just going, listen, Alvin Kamara, and he starts getting louder. It's great. Yeah. Love when you start off all quiet. It's brilliant.
Oh, sorry.
So he's serious.
I get passionate
Number five. Very passionate.
Number 5. Cinco.
All right. Now we're on to our number 8 running back as a consensus.
Number 8, Joe Mixon, Cincinnati Bengals.
It's Joe Mixon in Cincinnati. I was telling you guys earlier, I made my entire list of 15 running backs a couple days ago, and I looked at it and I realized I don't have Joe Mixon on the list. What? Whoops. How did I do that? I completely forgot. I don't know why. And the list I was going off of, I guess, didn't have Joe Mixon in their top 15 either because I didn't see him. And out of sight, out of mind. And then I realized, whoa, Joe Mixon's going to have a good year. I need to put him back up higher on my list. I actually have Joe Mixon as my number 7 running back. I really like Joe Mixon this year. They have a beefed up offensive line, the weapons galore. They're going to open shit up in that offense. Joe Mixon's going to get lots of touchdowns. What do you think, Johnny?
No, I'm with you. Number 4 in our league last year. I've got him at number 8, actually, right exactly where our consensus has him. I didn't forget to put him in. So I just like to say that right now. And last year, I told you he was a top 5 running back, and you guys scoffed at me.
Right.
We ended up
not
4th.
by that at all.
Joey Mix. Here's the thing, though. There's a lot of mouths. That's the only reason I have him at 8. There's a lot of mouths to feed in Cincinnati, and they feed everybody. So, but yeah, he's a top 10 running back for sure.
I mean, Tony, the offensive line just alone beefing that up should help break open big holes for Joe Mixon. And then the dual threats on both sides and the third wide receiver going across the middle in Boyd. You've got multiple weapons on there. They can't key on Joe Mixon.
They've got like 3 number 1 wide receivers on that team.
They do. They at least have 2 number 1s and a number 2, right? They're just loaded, and Joe Burrow's going to be coming a full year away from that injury. He should be even better than last year. I just see explosive numbers for all the Bengals. Yep. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, when you look at the Bengals, anybody looks at the Bengals and they're like, all right, what do we got to worry about here? You got to worry about Burrow and those wide receivers. Mixon's awesome, but we can't worry about him right now. Look at this passing game, and then an improved line. I mean, Mixon does have his share of minor injuries also. So I kind of feel like this is going to be his year to have possibly, I mean, I have him at number 5, but possibly like a top 3 season. They're going to be so worried about that passing game that I think, I'm not reading a lot about this, but I'm thinking that they're going to hand off more than we anticipate.
I think he's going to catch up a lot of balls.
He might, yeah.
Samaje Perine is a freaking joke as a third down back, by the way. And I feel like they got to know this. They got to get Mixon more involved in the passing game.
I agree. He's got great hands.
He does.
It's great.
He does.
Yeah.
All right. This is going to be the most controversial one. And not because he's number 9 where he's coming in on our list. It's because of the differential all of us had on this man. Some of them didn't even have him in the top 15. Others had him in the top 5. Number 9.
Number 9, Javonte Williams, Denver Broncos.
Is Javonte Williams from Denver. And tell him who's back this year on Denver. Tell him who's back, Johnny Ballgame. Who is it?
Fantasy Rooster, Mr. Cockblocker himself.
That is right.
Melvin
The freaking Fantasy Rooster is back. And guess what? I don't give a shit because Javonte Williams is so much better than Melvin Gordon. John,
So much better.
Here's where I have. This is crazy. I think I have Javonte 5th overall on my list. I think Javonte Williams is capable of a top 2 or 3 season this year. And I think the new regime doesn't give a crap about Melvin Gordon. It's not going to be a 50-50 split. The cream rises to the top. I think Javonte gets the bulk of the carries. Gordon will still get a few. But Javonte is going to get 75% of the touches. Tony, what say you?
Did you really just say that? Well,
I
you
did.
got him where? Number
I have him
5.
5.
He's awesome, but he's not that awesome. Well, I don't know. I mean, no, he's good. He's great. He's great. He was fun watching when he had big games last year. He was a blast, but I still don't care. They're gonna snub that fucking rooster. Like I think I do. Why bring him in if you're not going to give him the ball? He's going to take.
I agree. Yeah.
He's going to take away from Williams. Unfortunately,
I mean, you need Gordon because he's a veteran in case of injury, and you need to spell Javonte Williams and keep him fresh. But it's not going to be a 50-50 split. I'm calling it right now.
I agree with that. I don't think it'll be.
You need to hear me out. This is the next Jonathan Taylor coming at you. Last year, I said I love Jonathan Taylor. I felt like a big year was coming. I didn't realize he'd be that good. Don't get me wrong. But Javonte Williams is coming. And we were worried about the Colts splitting carries with who was that backup running back in
Rhodes.
Indianapolis?
Was it Rhodes?
No, it was the guy that catches passes. Doesn't matter.
Oh,
We were worried about that. It didn't come to fruition. We're not going to worry about Gordon this year. I'm calling it right now.
Okay.
John,
I
what
had
do
him
you
at
think?
10. I had him at 10.
I got him at
Ended up
11.
9. Yeah. So, but
He's
again,
awesome. He is good.
if Melvin Gordon hadn't been there, I'm going to admit this right now, he'd be like 6, maybe 5 on my list. I just
Okay.
don't trust Melvin Gordon, and I don't
Yeah,
trust him.
I will agree with that.
It's not whether we trust Melvin Gordon or not. It's whether we trust the coaches to play
Right,
the
that's what
right
I'm saying.
hand.
I just don't trust them to do the right thing.
Yeah. There's a lot of fear about that. You give me Javonte. I'll take him as my RB2 and say thank you very
Sure.
much.
I would take him as my RB2 too, Chuck. That's not
Well,
bad.
I mean-
Oh, hey, be careful that limb you're going out on. I hope it doesn't break.
All right, fine. But let me just put it this way. If you're the first pick in the draft and you take Jonathan Taylor, there is a less than 0% chance that Javonte Williams will make it back to you at the turn in the second round. How would that sound?
I'd still go
Jonathan
with
Taylor.
Hines.
But boy, if it did,
Naheem Hines,
can
that's
you
the guy.
imagine
we-
your backfield?
Hines.
Oh, that's actually that just made me. That feels dirty.
All right, let's move. Let's move on to number 10.
Number 10, Dick Chubb, Cleveland Browns.
Speaking of dirty, talking about Javonte Williams gave me a Chubb. Nick Chubb is our number 10 running back from Cleveland. I liked Nick Chubb last year. I drafted him. He was pretty good. But I'm down on Nick Chubb this year. I don't have him. Let's see. I have him 13th.
That's where I have him. Exactly where I have him.
Don, you're a little down on him as well, 13th.
I have him one higher. He's
He's
the
the
one.
7.
He's the one where I'm not. My number 2 where I'm not really sure of, but I threw him in there.
Well, pimp him out. You took him at 7. Pimp him
Yeah.
out to me. What
Make
do you
your
like
case.
about the Chubbster?
He's Chubb, and what are they? They're gonna just give him the ball again if he stays healthy? Like what if they're gonna be their options? Mayfield's got a chip in his shoulder, probably not going to be there. Your quarterback, your big quarterback, is going to be in jail or suspended or something. I don't think they're going to have a choice. So if he stays somewhat healthy, he's going to probably be in the top 10. And he's still a really strong running back.
Let me
Very
remind you, you coined the term Chubb Hunt on this show.
I did. I know
And there's
that
a reason.
that was
Chubb.
always a-
Sure did.
They split carries. Even when Hunt went out last year, I thought, oh boy, here we go. Nick Chubb is all by
That's
himself.
actually-
Yeah.
That's a good point. And he
It
did.
happened.
That's
Dearness
true.
Johnson. They took Dearness to camp.
And they re-signed Ernest again.
And then Dearness Johnson got hurt, and I went, oh boy, here we go. Nope.
Chubb.
That was so last season. This is my week, baby. Minus.
I'll tell you what.
points.
Let me put it this way. If Deshaun Watson was going to play most of the year, I'd be all in on Nick Chubb because he'd get gaping holes to run through. Oh, man. Gaping holes in Chubb. Come on now. I mean, it's a layup for you, Johnny.
That's what she said.
Thank you. But he should have gaping holes. But I think Deshaun Watson might miss most of the season, and they're not going to have Baker Mayfield. They're going to be playing the backup from the Colts. I mean, who's quarterbacking the Browns? I don't like it. Jacoby Brissett.
Jacoby, give me some
They're going
brisket.
to stack that line, and Nick Chubb's going to find no holes, baby. No holes.
I'm with you. Again,
All right.
I literally only put him at 13 because he's got talent. It's the only reason he's even in my top 15.
Agreed. Completely. All right. Our number 11 running back as a whole.
Number 11, DAndre Swift, Detroit Lions.
DAndre Swift. I'm a little higher on DAndre Swift than our consensus. John, I know you are too.
Yep.
Tell me what you like about Mr. Swift.
I got him at 9. I think he's a top 10 running back. I like where he started to get to last year. Like I was completely down on DAndre Swift to start the season. And I'm not even sure where he ended up because he had some injury and all that stuff. So he wasn't real high in our league. But boy, when he plays, he looks good.
Yeah,
And Detroit, to me, is a team that's up and coming. They drafted another really good draft this year. Their line's starting to come into play. I think Detroit's that team nobody's looking at. It could be like the Cincinnati Bengals from last year. The NFC's wide open for the taking, and Detroit seems like if they had a better quarterback, it seemed like they could be a team that could really surprise people. I like him.
And I think they know they need to rely on Swift
Yes.
more. And I think he's going to have a good season. I got him at number 10, so I agree with you.
They've also opened up the offense a little bit with their draft picks.
Yeah.
You know, they're bringing in Jameson Williams, and he might miss a few weeks here, but once he gets going, they got your boy Amon St. Brown.
I love
They got
him.
weapons, and that's
Yeah.
going to open up the offense. I like it.
So I just want to say this from weeks, like if you look at week 1, 30 points, week 3, 26 points, week 5, 25, 21, 36, had a down week and an off week, and then went back to 31 and 35, and then got injured and missed most of the rest of the season.
Mhm.
Those are stud ass numbers right there. Those are stud numbers.
They're stud ass numbers.
Stud ass numbers. If you're wearing some sort of assless chap or something,
Exactly.
that guy for the first 7, 8, 9 weeks was probably in the top 10 easy, probably in the top 7.
All right.
That's all I'm saying.
All right. Another controversial one is our number 12.
Number 12, Leonard Fournette, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Leonard Fournette in Tampa. When he plays, he's good. He was really good last year. He was good the year before. Tom Brady trusts him. They did draft Rashad to back him up, a rookie who could, fight him for some carries. But, Tom Brady doesn't want no rookie. He got back there blocking for him. He's going to go with Leonard Fournette. I could see Fournette having another top 10 running back season. What do you guys think?
I want to say no, but it's part of that whole Tom Brady thing. I mean, he's going to be consistent. He's going to get points. I don't know if, he's going to be a number 1, but he's a fantastic RB number 2. He's going to get points. He's going to be consistent. Is he going to go off? I don't know, but unfortunately, when I say I don't know, he probably freaking will. But fantastic RB number 2, in my opinion.
Yeah. Finished number 8 in our league last year, missed 3 weeks. Had a couple of other down weeks, but for the most part, solid, high teens, 20s. Had a couple big weeks, like a 55 week, a 36 week. So Yeah, I got him exactly at 12, and I only did it because I was like, yeah, okay, I'll put Fournette there.
He's just not excited.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like I wasn't thrilled about it, but I'm
No.
like, every year he's in the top 15, and he's probably supposed to stay there. So
The Jags let him go. They cut him because they thought he was trash just 2 years ago, two seasons before.
it's insane.
And he goes to Tampa and plays with the GOAT, and he's suddenly a top 10 running back. Just tells you quarterback play is so important.
So important, man.
So important. All right. Speaking of quarterback play being important, this is why I'm down on this next guy who made our list. He did not make my top 15. And that is
Number 13 David Montgomery, Chicago Bears.
David Montgomery in Chicago. That's John's boy. He's a Bears fan. He works in Chicago. Tell me about your boy, David Montgomery, because I know you did not have him lower than I did. You had him higher. You had him
I
at
had him
number
11.
11.
I had him at
Explain
11.
yourself.
When the boy plays, he's good. He's really good. He's versatile. He can catch the ball. He gets a lot of catches out of the backfield. Runs hard. The only thing that makes me a little nervous about him is they've got that other running back that they started to get some experience to last year and was pretty good. So he might do a little bit of a timeshare, but I think he's just a really good all-around back. And I think they're going to have to rely heavily on him this year, especially in the pass game.
Mhm.
Tony, you had him as just eking into your top 15. What do you feel about David Montgomery?
From what I've seen when he's healthy, I like him. You know, I'm really honestly, guys, I'm just going on what I've been reading right now. I can't see him. Definitely can't see him being in the top 10 personally, but I think that he is definitely in the top 15. He's another RB2, sort of like a Fournette. And if their system can stay consistent, he's going to be consistent. And I like him. Man, that's all I can say. I don't see him being a superstar, but I like him.
I do like that Eberflus says he's a perfect fit for his offensive system. Like specifically called out Montgomery as a perfect fit for his offense.
Montgomery's a volume guy too. Like he needs the volume to get the numbers. He's not an explosive guy. And that offense scares me a little bit with Fields at the helm, and they're lacking some wide receiver.
I get it. I get the doubt. Like I don't hate anybody who's got doubt about any Bear this year because I think they're going to truly be the worst team in the league this year.
Now on the flippy, so Montgomery scares me because of the lack of weaponry outside of the wide receiver position. The exact opposite is why I like this next guy in Green Bay, our 14th running back.
Number 14, Aaron Jones, Green Bay Packers.
As a whole, Aaron Jones. The reason why I like Jones so much is because Davante Adams is gone. There is a lack of depth at the wide receiver position. And you know Aaron Rodgers is still going to get his numbers. And who does he lean on when Davante doesn't play? Aaron Jones. Tony, you like Aaron Jones. Tell me more.
Yeah, I do. He had a disappointing season, but I feel exactly the way you do. They're going to rely heavily on that running game, dumping passes, so on and so forth. And I have him at 13. Last year he was ranked way higher. I kind of feel he might squeak into the 10th spot just because they're going to have to use him. But if you look at him last season,
Terrifying.
Yeah, he just did not. It just
Terrifying.
wasn't there. So I'm going on that they have to utilize him. That's what I'm going on. And that's why I think he's going to have a good season.
I also feel like Green Bay is not going to be playing from ahead this year. They're going to be playing from behind. They're going to have to pass. And when they pass, Dillon goes out. Aaron Jones comes in. And do you remember the game a couple years ago when, pardon me, Javonte Adams missed the game due to injury? I think that was the game Aaron Jones caught 3 touchdowns out of the backfield from Aaron Rodgers. So I expect a lot of that. John, what do you think?
He didn't make my top 15. I have him at 17. Corey Dillon. Wow. Last one pass. AJ Dillon only scored 40 total fantasy points less than that guy in our league last year. That's broken out over 17 weeks is not much. So that means they split a lot. And I
They
thought
did.
AJ Dillon looked better as the season went on, and they relied on him more in the running game and then more for Jones in the passing game. And you may be right. They may rely on him a lot for the passing game, but I think if they do, they're going to rely on him way less on the running game then, and they're going to give it to AJ Dillon. And so I think what he'll make up for in the passing game, he's going to start lacking in the running game. And I just don't trust it because he burnt everyone so bad last year. I mean, we all had him top 3, top 4 running back.
It was a heartbreaker for sure.
And absolutely, broke all of our hearts. So
He did. Speaking of a guy that breaks everyone's heart, 15.
Number 15, Saquon Barkley, New York Giants.
And squeaking in, our 15th running back is Saquon Barkley. And we were all over the board on this guy. Some guys didn't have him on the list at all. Other guys had him higher, like myself. I think I had Saquon at 11.
wow.
I'm liking the vibes in New York. From what I'm hearing, he's in the last year of his contract. He's in great shape, best shape of his life. The
Mhm.
coordinators are talking about splitting him wide, lining him up all over the field, getting him the rock. I like what I'm hearing.
I mean, I
John,
had him
tell
at
me.
15. I'm falling for it a little bit too. I had him at 15. I don't know how much I believe in it, but I don't want to not believe in it. So he's at 15 for now. Probably will change once I see some footage and practice and some, some preseason stuff. I think he could be one of those bounce back guys. We'll see.
Yeah.
He was terrible last year. Absolutely terrible. Didn't really have anywhere to run behind that line. Their offense is going to open up, though. I like their coordinator there. He's looking at ways to get him out in space, and that's when Saquon's really good.
Yeah.
You could have a top 10 running back and get him in the 3rd round.
Mm-hmm.
Completely agree. I think Jones
All right.
will play a lot better this year too. Actually, as quarterback, I actually kind of like Jones this year going into the season as a little sleeper, a little dark horse.
All right. That concludes our top 15 right there. Now, let's
Crazy
talk about some
thinking
guys
about who
that
didn't
did.
make it.
Yeah, who didn't make it? Who do you think got shunned? I want to go to each one. Is there a guy in your head right now, John, where you're thinking, wow, he didn't make the top 15? Who is it?
I mean, I got a couple of them. I mean, you think about the people who scored like James Conner was 7th in our league last year. He's 19 on my list. I don't believe in him because he's never done it 2 years in a row. But you know the guy I'm going to talk about because he's an ex-Buckeye. He's a Cowboy, and I talk about him every year because I think he's going to just go crazy and go off. And that's Zeke Elliott. Zeke Elliott finished in a down year last year, finished 6th in our league at running back. And no one talks about it. No one even considers
I don't
him.
even see how.
John, do you see the wind blowing at your back and the sea and the waves? Because
Yeah.
you're on a fucking island on that one, bro. You are all
He was number
about-
16 on my list. I didn't have him in my top 15, but he was just outside.
Nobody had him on the list except you. I don't believe in Zeke Elliott. I think he's done. He looked slow last year. This kid Pollard was coming on. I think you're going to see a lot more
He
Pollard
played with
this
an
year.
injury the entire after week
That's what they're
4.
saying. That's what they're saying. Yeah.
He
Hey.
played with an injury after week 4, and he finished the number 6 running back in our league.
It's survival of the fittest, John. The only reason he finished in the
Finished
at
ahead of
6.
Connor, Fournette, Chubb, Gibson, Dalvin Cook, Patterson, Derrick Henry, Damien Harris, Josh Jacobs, Aaron Jones, Javonte Williams, DeAndre Swift, Montgomery, Gore. I mean, I could go on and on. This guy finished number 6.
All those guys either were hurt or in a timeshare. It's survival of the fittest. Ezekiel Elliott should have been. He was the lead back there. He got the majority of the carries.
He was the.
And he was a disappointment, John. Let's face it. Tony.
Oh, he was definitely a disappointment. I had him. He disappointed me on a weekly basis.
How are they going to do it? You know Pollard's awesome.
They're talking about using Pollard in the slot as a receiver because who they got to throw it to? They got rid of all the receivers.
I don't know. I'm still shocked. I mean, hey, listen, your argument is very valid. Number 6. I mean, come on. I don't know how. He did not look sharp.
Nope.
But he got points. So I just, I don't know. I just don't buy it. I have him at like 16 or 17. So we'll see. I mean, I hope you're right.
I got a guy that was really good last year for me, and he's not on anyone's list. And this guy is Damien Polaris. The star was born. Damien Harris in New England. I don't see why we're so down on Damien Harris. He's going to do exactly what he did last year. He's going to score a bunch of touchdowns. He's going to have some 100-yard games. He's going to be solid. I like him as an RB2. Why is he not on our list? Tony, let me ask you, why is he not on our list?
Beats me. Again, and he's in my top 20. I don't know, dude. I like that quarterback. I think they're going to break it open. I think they're going to pass more this year. I don't know, man. I just don't like Damien Harris. I know he scored. He's talented. I don't like it. I just don't like it. I don't buy it.
Who's the other running back there? Who's the other guy?
Ramondre Stevenson.
Oh, yeah.
There's my answer. That guy's a
He
beast.
was there last year.
He was a rookie last year. Belichick's not going to trust a rookie.
Damien
He's a
Harris was a
second-year
rookie the year before. What's your point, John?
I think the other guy is more talented. I didn't even have – so I gave you a top 20, even though we were doing top 15, and I gave you a just missed list. Damien Harris isn't even in my just missed list.
I know.
He's not in my top 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's not in my top 26.
John, but we're so perfect together. Why don't you like Damien Harris?
I don't feel it. I don't.
All right.
I feel like he will be less good this year. That's what I'm telling you.
Okay, Tony, is there a guy on your list that didn't make the consensus list you want to talk about?
Can I talk about two guys?
Sure.
Yeah.
Because one, Antonio Gibson. I mean,
That's
that
the big
guy's raw talent, man.
It's a cock tease.
I can't get it. And I also love Dobbins. I mean, is he going to be healthy enough? Because that guy was spectacular to watch. He had a couple games where it's like, whoa, dude.
Dobbins was my number 14. I totally agree with you.
So, it's up in the air. These injuries and injury plagued seasons changes everything. So we gotta see. We gotta see how they look in a month or two from now. But I love both those guys.
Tony, I want to reminisce a little about last year. We were talking about a story before the season about Antonio Gibson, and they were talking about how he was gonna get the Christian McCaffrey treatment. He's gonna catch a bunch of balls and all this stuff. I came to you and I said, "What do you think about that?" Do you remember what you said?
I don't. I don't.
I said, "What do you think about that? What do you think about him being like Christian McCaffrey?" And you said, "That's bullshit." And you couldn't have been more correct.
Yes, you were.
Yeah.
I
remember them hyping him up. I'm like, they're not going to use him that way. I don't think he's that kind of running back. I didn't think he was that kind of running back. Like, that's not going to happen.
Then they teased us a little bit because what's his face was going to leave. He's going to go
to Buffalo.
Buffalo.
Oh yeah,
Mr. Patch
take it back.
And
bring it Buffalo.
Go back to Washington.
The Commandos.
Yeah.
The Commandos. Love it.
All right.
I mean, a couple other people.
You
I
guys
think.
got anybody else?
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit more about J.K. Dobbins. Are we fearing the injury to the knee at all, John?
I do, but again, I don't think I fear it that much. It was so super early in the season. I mean, it was in the training camp, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I had him at 14. That'll tell you how I feel about him. I actually think he's going to come back, and there's some people who you can't even tell they had knee surgery, and I think he's going to be one of them. I think he's going to come back and just tear it up. I love
Can I ask, do you think Baltimore fixed their sod? Because I remember last year going into the season, we were so high on J.K. Dobbins, but people were also worried about Gus Edwards. And J.K. Dobbins went down in practice and tore his ACL. And for like an hour, we're like, oh boy, Gus the bus.
And Gus we trust.
Oh shit, he tore his ACL too. Like the next day, it was crazy.
It was,
and
nuts.
then I think their safety tore his ACL like the third day.
Yeah,
like,
it was something crazy. It's like
what's
a
inside?
groundskeeper got fired for sure.
You know he did.
Yeah.
All right, I got a guy I'd like to talk about.
Okay.
I'm high on this guy. He's in my top 15. He's a rookie. Breece Hall on the Jets. John, I know you like this rookie. Talk to me about Breece Hall.
I like him a lot. I have him on my just missed list only because there's some mouths to feed there in the Jets. They've got Carter, who I think showed some flashes last year. They got another running back, I can't remember his name, who kind of ended up coming on, another second-year guy. But gosh, Breece Hall's talented. That guy's really talented. Should have been a first-round pick. They got him lucky, and they got him in the beginning of the second round. They traded up to get him. Joe Douglas had just an unbelievably brilliant draft, in my opinion. And I think it'll take him a little bit to get going, which is why I don't have him in my top 15 or top 20. But I think if I was going to rank my running backs from weeks 10 on, he would be in my top 15 for sure.
Breece Hall is a more athletic person than Jonathan Taylor. He's a freak. I see big things for him. Top 10. I think he's going to finish top 10. I didn't rank him top 10 because I was scared. That's a
bold prediction.
All right, this is being recorded, right?
Yeah. That is a bold prediction, my friend.
I do think Breece Hall is going to end up in the top 10. I do. Here's something that's going to piss Tony off. What about Devin Singletary?
You guys are not very good friends, are you? You just like to push that. You know how much
I don't even have him in my top 20 or my just missed list.
Yeah, but look, what did he do in December? Like again, or like what was it from like the middle of November on where I dropped him and then he just, every week.
His last 4 weeks were good. His playoffs were pretty good.
That's what I
But
mean.
he didn't do dick before that.
It's so frustrating. I don't know what that guy's gonna do.
Also, they drafted a fella named James Cook, who, by the way, is Alvin Cook's brother and looked really good in Georgia.
Yeah, that's true. I don't normally root against players just out of spite, but Singletary, I kind of hope he has difficulties in his personal life. That's how much resentment I have towards that guy. I know it's uncool, but whatever. I hate that guy.
What do we think about Elijah Mitchell in San Francisco?
I was just getting ready to bring him up. When he plays, he's fantastic. He's another guy that can't keep on the field. I mean, he missed 5 weeks, 6 weeks. Missed 6 weeks.
But Mike shenanigans, right? We can't trust who he's going to put at running back. They drafted another running back this year. You could throw him out there. We don't know what he's going to do. He likes to stick with one guy, but you don't know which guy it's going to be.
He likes to stick with one guy for the week. Like it doesn't. Yeah, I don't trust him.
How about Cam Akers?
Shoot, I got him on my list. I didn't even bring him up. Like at least in the top 20. That's another explosive dude. He's exciting. Yeah. He needs more time. We need to see more time in the field. When you come back from an injury like that and you fit into the mix right away and make a difference, that could be scary. Like that's impressive.
Yeah. I think so too.
I
have him in my just missed list, but I feel like I could easily have him in my top 15 before we do the season. He's one of those guys that I was like, this is tough from about 12 on. You could have mixed any of these guys up and I'd have been like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys noticed it. This is kind of exciting though, because this is giving us hope for like having solid running back or
completely opposite of last year where we just had nothing but crap running back play.
Right.
Because we haven't talked about Connor. We haven't talked about Rashad Penny, who down the stretch ended up being really good.
And we were fantasy broke last year. We need to go to the ATM machine. Travis ATM. ETN. Don't forget he's coming back from that injury. I think this guy's super explosive.
That guy so much.
Love that guy.
I've never seen your eye twinkle so much as when you talk about ATM.
He's like better than Ben Roethlisberger. I feel big things. I think he's capable of an Alvin Kamara type role. His rookie year with the Saints, if you remember, I think they're going to utilize him in the passing game a lot. And I don't like James Robinson coming off an Achilles injury. That's I think
I
ETN's
couldn't remember what happened to Robinson. You're right. That wasn't Achilles injury. Yeah. You know what? I would bump ATN now up on my list. I completely forgot what happened to him.
And we can talk about Rashad Penny, but I'm worried about Ken Walker. By the way, it's not Kenneth Walker. It's Ken Walker.
Is it? Oh, I didn't know that.
Ken.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to call him Kenny.
I was just going to say that same thing. I'm going to call him Kenny until he proves himself.
I feel like they're going to cancel each other out.
Yeah, probably.
And they're just a really bad passing team. They're going to stack that line. Where'd you guys
rank Connor? Connor ended 7th in ours. Where'd you guys rank him?
I have James Conner.
Yeah.
Not in my top 20. He's like 21.
I got him at 5th. Or no, I got him at 17.
I had him at 19. And again, he was one of those guys where I was like, yeah, I'll put him on the list.
He's real touchdown dependent, and it could happen again for him because they really don't have anyone else that can get it.
No, they got rid of the other guy.
Yeah.
The other running back.
They did. They got rid of what is his name? The guy that's in Miami now.
Yeah.
Edwards.
Not going to play here anymore.
That's right. One other guy I want to talk about is Miles Sanders. He scored how many touchdowns? He scored less touchdowns than all of us combined. He had 0.
So wouldn't that
how do you score 0 touchdowns as an NFL running
back? I realize that we're not doing math here, but I feel like it'd be the same touchdown.
It would be the same.
Less than us. Okay.
Yeah, you're
correct.
But
I will say that though, he did end up looking pretty good in the back half of the season. They started running a lot more.
Yeah, he had a couple big catches, didn't he? Didn't he have like an 80-yard catch or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he didn't score a touchdown.
He did score. I was getting ready to say in a touchdown.
He
didn't score a touchdown. No.
Yeah. Miles Gaskin's career is basically over.
Oh, the gas man. Yeah, that was your boy. Yeah.
Oh, Miami debacle.
And last guy, Josh Jacobs.
Oh, yeah. Wow. God, he was ranked pretty high last year, wasn't he?
I have him at 18 on my list.
I got him further down because I'm hearing rumblings that they like the rookie they drafted in Vegas. And I don't know if they like Jacobs. It's a new regime there. They didn't draft Jacobs. That was Gruden's boy. That's over.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to use him.
Good question. Finished still pretty high in our league last year.
Jacobs was pretty decent last year, but
he was 15, number 15.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, guys.
All right, boys.
We pretty much exhausted the running back position this week. Next week, we're going to do wide receivers, and that's going to be even more fun because there's a lot of wide receivers that change teams, and I'm interested to know where you guys rank this guy. And I know you guys out there are interested, so you're going to want to hit that like button. You're going to want to subscribe, hit that notification bell. I want to thank Johnny Ballgame.
Chuck, always fun, man. You do such a great job leading this show.
And it's great to have you back. Tony Brooks, Sir Poops a lot. Thank you for coming back, brother.
You got it, man. It was nice. It was good to be back.
And we're going to see you guys next week. Hit that notification bell so you get notified when we get the next one out. Our top 15 wide receivers. We hope you enjoyed tonight's show.
Football time. Let's do this now.
It's
coming
time
back
to go, boys.
Weekly.
Aloha.
Later.
Tune in for another episode of Fantasy Sports Island.